Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're really excited today about our Salesforce.com presentation on accounting integration. My name is Mark Sferrazza. I'm the marketing manager with eBridge Connections, and I'm joined here with Mike Catapamo, our technical sales engineer, who is going to be demoing our product and answering any questions that you may have. Please go ahead and submit your questions to GoToWebinar as we move along with the presentation, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions at the end of this session. So to give you a little bit of background about eBridge Connections, we were founded in 1993, and traditionally we're involved in EDI integration between trading partners and accounting systems. However, over the last decade, our primary drivers of growth have been in the e-commerce and CRM space. We've provided CRM integration solutions for a number of years now, and we're also listed on the Salesforce App Exchange under the data integration app category. So we currently have about 2,500 customers worldwide in a countless number of industries and sectors. We also have a dedicated team of about 50 employees, and it's important to note that we don't outsource any of our development. It's all done in-house. So we have hundreds of connections that can easily be deployed for your custom solution. And what's great about eBridge Connections is that we don't charge you for any upgrades, and our new cloud-based ePortal application will help to ensure that you're always up to date with the latest connection configurations. And one of the major benefits of using our application is that we don't charge you any fees per transaction. This means that you have an unlimited number of transactions and you pay a fixed price. So we pride ourselves on having a strong relationship with our various related software publishers, such as Microsoft, Sage, and Intuit. We also stay up to date with a number of development APIs, including that of Salesforce.com. And the underlying goal of these partnerships is to remain current with all the latest software applications and accounting packages in order to ultimately keep our end customers current. So we're one of the only vendors that supports such a wide variety of accounting packages. Our eBridge API allows you to connect your accounting system to virtually any e-commerce, EDI, or CRM system. So as you can see in the diagram, we connect to over 40 accounting packages. To name a few, we've got Intuit there on the screen, SAP Business One, and Sage Peachtree. You can view our API development kit on our website if you go to the partner section at eBridgeConnections.com. And for a complete overview of our integration touchpoints, you can visit our blueprint builder, and that's at eBridgeConnections.com/blueprint. So now I'm going to pass it over to Mike Catapamo, and he's going to give us a live demonstration of our Salesforce connector, as well as explain the architecture of our ePortal system.
All right, thanks, Mark. So what I'd like to show you today is the Salesforce solution that we have for the eBridge integration platform. And what I have up on the screen now just shows at a very high level what our solution looks like. There's two main components to our solution. I'll just speak about them very briefly to explain what they're for, and then we'll look at taking an opportunity in Salesforce and we'll follow it through into ultimately the accounting system. We're going to use Microsoft Dynamics GP, and we'll actually see that opportunity in Salesforce flow into Dynamics GP as a sales order. So as you can see here on the far left, we have Salesforce. And the next step in line we have is the eBridge integration portal. And that handles all of the connections to the outside world. In this case, we're looking at Salesforce. And what we're doing today is going to be looking at a closed won opportunity, which we're going to recognize as a good order that's ready to be processed. So your mobile sales team's out in the field, and they're keying new opportunities into the Salesforce system. And you want those to flow into your back office application to be fulfilled and processed on the back end. And our integration software allows that to happen without having someone to re-enter that data into the ERP system, which of course could be a source for error. It's a source of delay. You don't have to worry if your order entry person calls in sick. So these orders will just flow through the system. And we have the ability, of course, to determine what type of opportunities we're bringing through. In this example, we're going to look at closed won. However, we can expose those opportunities to our integration platform based on some other opportunity status if it needs to be based on what your business process is. The second component in the solution is an eBridge software application, and that is really the link into your accounting or ERP system. eBridge, as Mark had mentioned, has been in business doing data integration since 1993, and we have partnerships with these major accounting software publishers. We're a certified gold development partner with Microsoft on the Dynamics line and the Sage suite of products. And we support QuickBooks and SAP and Epicor and Exact, Macola, and some others as well, upwards of 40 unique packages. So we don't deploy any of those specific accounting packages. We're not a Salesforce consulting company. We sit firmly in the middle and focus on integrating data, and that's where our strengths are, and that's where our specialty lies. So what I would like to do is go a little bit further into the solution. We're going to look at an opportunity in Salesforce, and we're going to follow it through the integration solution, and as I mentioned, we're going to post it into the Dynamics GP ERP system. So I'm just going to flip over here to our demonstration environment. Okay, and we're going to start by logging into Salesforce. As I said, our focus today is going to be around the closed won opportunities in Salesforce. And we're going to bring those in as sales orders. And that's a very common flow that we see. And whether it's Salesforce opportunities or whether it's web store orders are one of the, I would say they're the biggest integration point that we deal with on a daily basis of bringing orders into our accounting and ERP system. So let's go ahead and click on opportunities. And we have one opportunity here, and we'll click on that. And we're going to take note of a few of the details here. We're going to look at the opportunity name, and that happens to be called Jack 1. We have the opportunity stage, which is what we're using to expose the opportunity to the ePortal solution, which is the closed won status. And we have a couple of line items down here. We have a BlackBerry Bold and an iPhone with a quantity of 2 and 8 respectively, and a unit price of $12 and $32 respectively. So what I'd like to do is just get you to make a mental note of a couple of these details, and we can come back and look at this again later. But we're going to be looking at these very specific details as we flow through the solution, and we'll highlight them again. So what I'd like to do now is flip over to the eBridge ePortal component, which is that first step in the integration. And I'm going to log in. Now this ePortal solution is web-based. It's accessible through our corporate homepage, so you can log in from anywhere and see this information flowing between the systems. Okay. Now the main area of interest today is going to be under transactions, but there's certainly a number of different pieces of information we could be looking at here. There's some short videos on the ePortal integration solution, and you have the ability to connect to our community forum to ask questions, suggest ideas, look for solutions to an issue you might be having. And we also post various communication messages such as enhancements to ePortal that we might want to highlight for you. But for now, I'm going to click on transactions. And what we're taken to, it looks a lot like web-based email in that there's an inbox and an outbox, except instead of email messages, we have business documents. The inbox primarily contains orders, but it can contain anything that we might be integrating to your back office applications that might come through, as we said, EDI or web store or, of course, CRM. Looking at the sixth line item here, we see the Salesforce order that we saw in Salesforce. So again, that was the opportunity number of Jack 1. If we click on the actual order name or order number, we'll see a copy of all of the Salesforce fields that we have that relate to that opportunity. And quite a few of the fields won't be applicable on the accounting or ERP side, but they're all available to you, and we can put them anywhere you like in your accounting system to facilitate your business flow. So as we look at this, we'll see here that we have the particular opportunity number or the buyer order number. We have the Jack 1. We have the opportunity stage closed 1. We have, if we scroll down, some details about the bill to and ship to. We have the items that we were looking at within Salesforce, the iPhone quantity 8, unit price of 32. And of course, we have the BlackBerry with the quantity of 2 and unit price of 12. So what we're going to do now is flip over to the integration platform that sits on our customer side and handles the link into Dynamics GP. I should mention that there's no reason that you actually need to come into ePortal in order to make this integration file available for the back office systems. All the data comes in from Salesforce. It's converted to a downloadable file that is usable by our implementation team to integrate into the accounting or ERP system. So with that said, I am going to bring up our virtual environment where we have Microsoft Dynamics GP and the eBridge software application running. And if you imagine that we're now inside a company and we're on their local network and we're going to run the integration process. Usually we install this application and configure it on a server, but we can put it anywhere. It's very lean in terms of hardware and software requirements. If anyone has any questions about this component, let me know, and we'll answer any questions we have, and we'll follow up with you offline after the webinar if there's any additional questions about that. But for now, what I'm going to do is bring up the application, and I'm manually going to download the order from our integration platform and run it into Dynamics GP. And with a couple of clicks of a button, so even doing it manually, it's quite simple to do. In a live environment, we would have the click of that start button happen on a scheduled basis. So every 15 minutes, once per hour, a couple times per day, whatever makes the most sense from a business perspective, we can configure that and have the orders or opportunities from Salesforce flow in as sales orders so that you don't even need to work with this application on a daily basis either. So both of the components that we're looking at, the ePortal and this integration piece, really can run unattended in the background, and you can work with it on an exception basis. Very briefly, every time the import process runs, a log file is produced. That's what we're looking at here. This has some information about what happened during the import process. We can have this log emailed to somebody either every time the process runs or on an exception basis. It has information that we get from the accounting or ERP system, and it communicates back to us so that we can be made aware of any particular issues or anything that has happened during that posting process. Further to that, I should mention, or just to kind of state the obvious here, we're not just forcing data into the accounting system. we are a certified gold development partner of these ERP and accounting providers, and we adhere to their best practices for integration. So if there's some issue that prevents the order from posting, we're not just going to shove the data into the accounting system and potentially corrupt the database. We're getting that information back, and if for some reason we can't create the order, we'll kick it out and we'll post all of the other orders, and then we can deal with that one exception. And if it's obvious, you can resolve it and bring the order in again, or you can contact our support team and we'll help you figure out what might be the issue. You can see a couple of warnings in the log file. I've left them in just to highlight some of what I was describing, such as the two-way communication between the ERP system and our integration solution. This is pretty simple. It's just doing pricing validation. We're comparing the price coming in on the opportunity with the price that was set up for the item in the ERP system. And then the second step of that is, what price should we use as the correct pricing? So if we read this warning message here, we'll see that there's a price mismatch. The system price, or ERP price, is $200. The user price, or the import price, is $32. And we've configured the solution to use the order price coming from Salesforce. So when we log into the ERP system, we will see that the price is $32, not the $200 that was set up as part of the item master. So that's a configurable option. It's a standard option as part of the implementation. We just need to know how to set it. And keep in mind that on a customer-by-customer or a vendor-by-vendor basis within the integration, we can override that. So some of your customers, you might want to use the Salesforce pricing, but there might be other customers that have special pricing in your ERP system, and we can override that during the integration. All right, let's head over to the sales order we created in Dynamics GP ORD ST2230. And you can see we get a very nice summary line here of what we actually did, which was create a sales order with against a particular customer in GP for a ship-to address, and we see the same PO number that we were looking at earlier, which is the Jack 1. So we get the accounting order number, we get the original PO number, we get the customer in the accounting system that we created this against. And this is created, if there were 20 opportunities, we would have had 20 entries in the log file summarizing these orders that got created. Okay, so let's head over to GP real quick, and we'll just have a peek at that order there. Keep in mind, just about everything you've seen so far, actually everything you've seen so far applies for any of the accounting and ERP systems we integrate with. So the user interface for the application that we were just in that had the log file is the same whether we're implementing QuickBooks, Dynamics Xapta, Sage Mass 500. The eBridge integration portal is all the same. So this is the only part at the very last, kind of the last mile, so to speak, that would be different. And I could very easily have taken this Salesforce order or opportunity and brought it into QuickBooks, and I have done that. And we do that all the time. And so really the end point and where it's ultimately going is really up to the system that the customer is using. So everything, like I said, everything we've seen so far would apply regardless of what system we're working with. I just happen to choose Dynamics GP in this case, but like I said, it applies across the board. Okay, so looking at this order, we see some particulars that we saw throughout the process. So we have our customer order number, Jack 1, and we have our, if we look at it, we have our quantity and our unit price of 8 and 2 on the quantities, and the unit price of 32 and 12 on the prices. And if we were to now expand the line item detail, we'll see that we have the item description here of the iPhone and the BlackBerry Bold. The item numbers that we were looking at before I expanded it happen to be the internal reference numbers within the ERP system. And what that essentially did was create a link. We have cross-referencing capabilities to take SKU numbers that might be different in Salesforce than what you have set up in your accounting and ERP system, and we can manage that through cross-reference tables that are part of the Bridge application. And so with bringing the order in, it was, the item code was iPhone and BlackBerry. We still captured the description of the item, but then here we have the cross-reference as it exists within your internal system. So the moral of the story here is when you have different item codes in two systems, and this applies also for customer numbers, you don't have to necessarily change your Salesforce system or your ERP system so there's a match to facilitate integration. We have tables in the middle that allow us to link those for you and not clutter up your ERP database with duplicate parts that just to satisfy some naming convention. So I just wanted to mention that. Very briefly, I think I'll actually pull that up just to show you that in the Bridge application. And I'm just going to go into the cross-reference here and just show you exactly what I'm talking about. And this is just one of the tools we have in our particular tool set to deploy a solution that works for you. Whether you use this may or may not depend on, it may depend exactly on your specific integration here and what your business requirements are. But you can see here the iPhone item that's linking to that GP item. And if we scroll down here, we have our BlackBerry item, which is the item that we got from Salesforce. Whoop. Sorry about that. Which is the item we got from Salesforce and the item that exists in GP. So these cross-reference tables are there if they're required. Our implementation professionals will work with you to determine whether or not you need to maintain that link. If your SKU numbers are identical in both systems, you don't need to set up these cross-references, but they're there if you need them. And we have a whole host of other tools and solutions that we can use and apply in order to make our integration solution meet our customers' business needs, as opposed to saying, here's how our integration works, and here's what you need to change in order to work with our solution. So I hope that gave you a good idea about what the integration solution looks like and how it works. Our job is to, as I mentioned, make the solution work for our customers in their existing business process, and hopefully that saves a lot of time and effort and ultimately money, so that we are eliminating the manual data entry and allowing the focus of those resources in some other area to help you grow and build your business. So at this point, I think I'm going to turn it back over to Mark. Actually, before I turn it back over to Mark, I wanted to mention some exciting features about the integration with Salesforce, and these are relatively new. Sorry, I'm going to go back to Salesforce for a moment. I'm not sure how many people on the webinar are technical and how many are not so technical, but I'm going to use some jargon here, and I want to make sure I don't lose anyone. Salesforce uses modules called objects. So the opportunities that we looked at are considered an object. The contacts are considered an object. The accounts are considered an object. And these are all standard objects within every Salesforce deployment. Because of the flexibility of Salesforce and the wide range of industry it supports, it pretty much supports every industry. It's really the leader in CRM, in the CRM space, as well as several others. People have the ability to create custom objects that are unique to their company, unique to their industry. They might need to create whole other groups of Salesforce objects. And we've recently added the ability to access these custom objects. And it's very exciting because that means now that we're not limited to just pulling the standard Salesforce objects that are part of everybody's vanilla Salesforce solution. If you created a custom object that's related to the opportunity, for example, we can now pull down that entire custom object and, of course, an unlimited number of custom fields within any of the standard or custom objects. And that's really exciting, and it really was a necessary enhancement to our solution, because I don't know of too many Salesforce deployment solutions where people are leveraging only standard objects and, in fact, only standard fields. At the very least, people are creating custom fields within the object. So that's actually been a huge benefit to the enhanced solution. So we're very excited about that. So we can now do custom objects. We can do an unlimited number of custom fields on custom or standard objects. And that also includes, any custom objects that might be, 2 or 3 or more steps removed from the opportunity. Right now, we're pulling opportunities as kind of the base object, and all of the related objects that come down with it, including account information, product information, and any of the, like I said, the custom objects that might be related. So that's really exciting, and I can't believe I almost missed that. I probably would have gotten a slap from Mark for getting to highlight that, but really exciting, and it really makes it for a very powerful integration solution when you combine that with the fact that we have full control over manipulating the data in between the accounting and ERP system and the Salesforce system. We can really do anything you want with that data to make it look the way it needs to for you. So I think I covered everything. Mark, did I miss anything?
I think that's a great explanation, Mike.
Okay, great. And so I'll turn it back over to Mark.
Okay. So we are going to conclude our presentation now, and please submit your questions to GoToWebinar if you haven't already. To start, we're going to be taking the first question here, and the first question is, can I view error messages on ePortal if data is not transferred correctly?
That's a great question, and if we go back to the integration overview, the architecture, there's 2 points in the solution where we're processing data. The first point is the ePortal solution. You potentially could see an error, although it's highly unlikely, on the ePortal solution if for some reason you've changed, maybe you've added a custom object to Salesforce and we didn't configure ePortal to look at that new custom object. It's possible there might be an error there. Where the error may happen or get highlighted is actually in the eBridge software application at the time that the document is being posted into the accounting or ERP system. That's where the validation is done, and that's where you'd likely see an error. And if there was an error there, we would email you a copy of the log file if you weren't receiving them, with every import process. You can receive that log file only when there's errors. So it's more likely that today, for the moment, you will be getting your errors from the log file that the bridge produces.
Thanks, Mike. Well, it looks like that's all the questions we have for the day. If you have any other questions, please go ahead and email them to sales@ebridgesoft.com, or you could contact us at 1-800-755-6921. Again, you can visit our blueprint builder at ebridgeconnections.com/blueprint for a complete breakdown of all of our integration touchpoints. Again, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we look forward to speaking with you in the future.